just now. A man was killed by a knife. The next second, he suddenly opened his eyes. He found himself sitting in a high school classroom. The man named Theo has watched many plots of reborn dramas. So he quickly accepted the fact that he was reborn. But unlike his previous life, there is a new profession in this world called martial artist. Theo went to the internet cafe to look up information about martial artist. In this world, whatever big thing you want to do, there is a prerequisite. That is the identity of a martial artist. Martial artist is divided into 9 stages. Martial artist not only holds a very high social status and power, and only martial artists can start companies. Only a 4th-stage martial artist can become a provincial governor. To open a multinational company, one must reach the 7th stage of martial artist. Therefore, the martial arts examination has become the only way for countless people to turn their lives around. Theo is determined to become a martial artist. However, the martial arts examination is not that simple. Just the registration fee of 10,000 is enough to deter many people. Theo suddenly thought of whether the self after rebirth would be the trust fund key. But when he got home and took a look, he indeed still had no money. Theo has a lively younger sister named Lillian. The mother works half a day every day to take care of Theo and his sister. Her monthly income is only 800. Dad is also just an ordinary worker in a ceramic factory. His monthly salary is only 3,000. Facing the situation of coming from the lower class in society, Theo found it difficult to speak up for a moment. After struggling repeatedly in order to completely change his fate, Theo gritted his teeth and finally spoke up. Theo's family was very shocked to hear that he wanted to participate in the martial arts examination. But the father still decisively took out a bank card. Inside, there was already 10,000 yuan prepared. Facing his son's dream, the father still chose to support him. Theo looked at the bank card in his hand. He was both surprised and moved, determined to pass the martial artist exam and give his family a better life. The next day, Theo went to the bank to withdraw money. Just as Theo touched the money, a screen appeared before his eyes. A notification sounded. Conditions met. System connected successfully. This is the standard configuration for cheat codes e-knife. Amazing. You can't even imagine the happiness of the rich. At this moment, Theo is studying his system. After withdrawing 10,000 yuan from the bank, his wealth value became 10,000. Theo found out that money that doesn't belong to him won't be counted in the system even if contacted with it. Money with too low value or too small value won't be counted in the system either. Now Theo is puzzled about how to increase his vital energy and mental energy values. Theo begins to try various methods, including practicing yoga and doing forward bends. He bows and worships in front of Buddha. But after a series of operations, his values remain unchanged. Theo became agitated. Raise vital energy again, and I'll make you disappear. His words had just fallen, and wealth value quickly surged. Theo's entire body gradually emanated a powerful red energy. Just with a crisp sound, wealth value decreased to 0. Vital energy increased to 1.1. Theo immediately felt the changes in his body. With the increase in vital energy, his heartbeat began to gradually accelerate. It seems like his governor and conception vessels have been opened up. He feels unprecedentedly comfortable all over. However, he suddenly realized something. He suddenly looked at the table. The 10,000 yuan was still on the table. He breathed a sigh of relief. It turned out that using wealth value did not affect the money in reality. Theo went to the school to register for the martial arts examination. The classmates were very shocked. They asked him how much vital energy he had. Theo did not know whether his 1.1 was high or low, so he was hesitant to answer. At this time, the classmate next to him said that he had 108. Theo was greatly surprised. He only had 1.1. The difference was too big. Axel on the side saw this and invited him to come to his house for a test after school. His family happened to have a domestic vital energy device worth tens of thousands. Theo was speechless. The happiness of rich people is beyond imagination. After school, Theo went to Axel's house. Theo sat on the testing device. Axel looked at the screen in astonishment. After a while, he finally said incredulously, "Theo's vital energy is actually 113. The man only spent $10,000. Overnight, he became second in the whole class. His name is Theo, and he accidentally triggered the system when withdrawing money yesterday. He converted 10,000 wealth value into 0.1 vital energy. The original system's way of tracking is different from reality. The system displays 1.1 vital energy, which is equivalent to 113 in reality. The system just omits the digit 3 in 1.13. Return home. Theo is very happy, showing off in front of his little sister, because his vital energy 113 ranks second in the class. It's not a sure thing that he will become a martial artist even if he passes the exam. The parents were very happy when they heard about it. They knew that to take the martial artist exam, not only does one need to exercise, but also needs to consume energy tonic. So they gritted their teeth and took out the hard-earned 20,000 yuan. Mother called Theo into the room. Father kindly handed 20,000 yuan to his son. Theo was both moved and surprised. At this moment, the wealth value system also changed from 0 to 20,000. Theo was well aware that this 20,000 yuan was hard-earned, so he must use it wisely. It would be too wasteful to spend money on medicine. I don't know the effect yet. Instead, the current system seems more reliable. So, Theo spent 10,000 wealth value to raise mental energy by 0.1. This reaction is different from vital energy. It's like a girl gently touching her own head. He feels refreshed, focused, with significantly improved comprehension, concentration, and memory. Theo was so excited that he stayed up all night doing his homework. The next day at school, he didn't feel sleepy at all. Jor immediately gave him a throat-lock throw. Because of the news of Theo's vital energy 113. It has spread throughout the school by Axel's big mouth, just as the classmates were discussing it. The head teacher brought a bunch of materials for the martial art theory exam to Theo and assigned an important task to him and a few others participating in the martial arts examination. He said it was an opportunity he fought for with the director of education several times. Let them go meet Jim, the senior from the martial art university. This is a great opportunity to learn from him. A senior with high looks is so popular. A group of people will come to meet him. The senior's name is Jim. There is an even more important reason why he is popular. He became a martial artist in his freshman year. But only Theo doesn't know who Jim is. His ignorance provoked public anger. A die-hard female fan stepped forward to give him a detailed introduction. In fact, Jim's family was not affluent, but he never gave up on the martial arts examination and persisted in learning. Eventually, he entered martial art university as the top scorer in the city, becoming the first person from a regular class to enter the university. After entering martial art university, Jim did not slack off at all, always persevering in training. As a result, he became a martial artist in his freshman year. Jim is going back to his alma mater this time to give a speech. Everyone hung banners inside and outside the car. Such a scene made Jim very embarrassed. Utilize the travel time. Jim also taught some tips of the martial arts examination to junior and the other younger female students. The martial arts examination is divided into 5 major stages. The most difficult ones are the medical examination and practical testing. It is very difficult to pass the martial arts examination with vital energy at around 110. However, if you can mobilize your emotions, the results will be very different. People's joy, anger, sorrow, and happiness can make vital energy boil, especially anger. Being straightforward and aggressive can yield good results. If you can't arouse emotions, just imagine how it would feel to be humiliated. Once the medical examination is passed, the practical testing will be relatively easier. It mainly involves assessments of explosive power, endurance, flexibility, and similar aspects. But if you can't even kill a chicken, don't even think about fighting with others. Because killing a person is much harder than killing a chicken. Theo was shocked to hear this. Why did killing someone come out of Jim's mouth? He seemed so indifferent. Theo returned home and pondered deeply. He felt there was only one possibility. That is, he has killed someone in reality. However, he doesn't have the luxury to think about it now. Because, as Jim said, his vital energy of 113 is not stable. So, Theo spent 10,000 wealth value to increase his vital energy by 0.1. However, this time the reaction was completely different from the last time. Theo instantly felt like his heart was going to explode. Veins all over his body popped up, in immense pain. He even found it difficult to breathe. Could it be that he overdosed? Do not increase attributes too hastily. Otherwise, he is likely to suddenly drop dead. At this moment, Theo lay on the bed in unbearable pain. He just couldn't understand. The last time he took vital energy, it was an unprecedented relief. But this time, it almost cost him his life. Fortunately, he is now recovering somewhat. He quickly put on his school uniform to pick up Jim from the hotel. As a result, he ran too hastily and accidentally bumped into the new tenant upstairs. But this person is very strange. He was wearing a hat and a mask. He also had a small knife in his hand. However, Theo didn't think too much about it. He got on the bus and went to pick up Senior after she got on. Jim walked up to Theo and patted him on the shoulder, saying, "To become a martial artist, the body is fundamental." Although I don't know what Theo ate made his energy and vital energy improve so much all at once. But medicine should not be taken randomly. A little carelessness can lead to disaster. Moreover, only taking energy tonic without exercising will not improve one's physical fitness. In the end, it's just like the story of the snake trying to swallow an elephant due to insatiable greed. Theo was very surprised to hear this. Theo awkwardly replied, "Thank you." He returned home in the evening. Theo heeded Jim's advice and started exercising hard to work out his body. I didn't expect that with the improvement of vital energy, this intensity of exercise is not tiring at all. At that moment, a burst of killing intent suddenly came from behind him. When he turned around to look, it was the new tenant he had encountered during the day. Theo walked into the room with a worried expression. In the news, I unexpectedly saw a stage pinnacle martial artist named Second involved in a robbery, who killed his accomplice and escaped to his own city. And netizens also restored the surveillance footage. Theo saw the knife in the footage. Theo seemed lost in thought. He felt it looked very familiar. When he went to bed at night, he suddenly woke up. Isn't this the knife that belongs to the man upstairs? This lad is a bit tough. There's a murderer living upstairs, but he not only stays, he casually goes upstairs to the murderer's house, just to watch a game. He even prepares 2 cups of soy milk. Emmett is holding soy milk in his hand. He is furious. He could only watch helplessly as Theo showed off in front of him. And he also had to greet with a smile. Don't let his young age fool you. What if he is someone sent by the inspection bureau? Unknowingly, the game has ended. Theo pulled the curtains open to help Emmett clean up. Then, he was immediately pulled up by Emmett. How could a murderer's room be exposed so casually in front of people? However, Emmett can only lie and claim that he is allergic to UV light. Since the living room is off limits for cleaning, he went to the bedroom to clean. But Emmett stopped Theo again, saying that it's not convenient for a man to enter the bedroom. Everyone understands. Seeing no other options, Theo finally decides to leave. Emmett finally breathed a sigh of relief. Unexpectedly, Theo was tripped by a box on the ground. He fell flat on his back in a somersault. Emmett immediately panicked. Not because Theo fell, but because the weapon in the box was exposed. He immediately rushed over and kicked Theo away. Then he took out a dagger intending to kill the silence. Just as he was about to strike with the knife, Emmett suddenly felt dizzy. It turns out that Theo spiked the soy milk, and it was a super strong dose. Theo hastily seized the opportunity to grab a wooden stick and hit back. But Emmett stood up in an instant, truly worthy of second stage pinnacle. Emmett landed a hook punch right in the abdomen. Theo quickly pushed away. He had just been reborn after great difficulty. He couldn't die here. So he used his most powerful move, hitting wildly with a stick. Emmett is too injured. He fell to the ground and fainted. Theo immediately went to check the loot. Unexpectedly, he made a great harvest. This young man actually defeated a second stage pinnacle murderer on his own. But he did not rely on his strength. Instead, he secretly drugged the opponent. Emmett is very angry. He scolds Theo angrily. Unexpectedly, Theo is not a good boy. He is tempted by a large amount of stolen goods. Emmett sees an opportunity and immediately offers to trade with Theo, as long as Theo lets him go. Cash and elixir pills belong to Theo. The total market value of cash and elixir pills is 5.24 million. Theo is shocked. A few bottles of elixir pills are worth millions. Are martial artists' money just falling from the sky? Emmett persuaded Theo to trade with him, promising to only profit and not lose. Because the bone-tempering pill and organ shield pill in the bag are both valuable items that are not available on the market. The flesh of a martial artist is always that of an ordinary person, if they haven't tempered their bones to become tough. If they cannot protect their vulnerable internal organs. Once vital energy exceeds the limit, there will be an inevitable burst in the body and death. Therefore, instead of ending up empty-handed by handing him over to the police, it is better to let him go and get so many good things. If you want to kill to silence him and then swallow it privately, just forget about it. Because Emmett has already contacted the underground. If there is no contact for a long time, they will definitely come to find Theo for revenge. Isn't this a loss outweighing the gain? Theo fell into contemplation. He is very reluctant to part with this big bag of goodies. But he is also very clear. Emmett must not be let go under any circumstances. Otherwise, one would die immediately. At this moment, he thought of a win-win solution. Ask Jim for help. Because resources are very precious to martial artists. Jim's thoughts must be similar to his. But what if Jim wants to keep it all to himself? But Theo has already run out of options. Keep delaying. The effects of the medicine have worn off. Emmett will definitely take care of him. Rather than this, he might as well take a chance on Jim. At least he still has a chance to come out unscathed. A solid plan for sure. Theo swung his stick again. The young man looked at the system's display 2.4 million wealth value. He was overjoyed in his heart. Now, there is no problem getting into the martial artist. This man named Jim is the top scorer in the Sun City Martial Arts examination. He became a martial artist in his freshman year. He received a task. He needs to arrest someone. That person is the murderer Emmett. He is currently moving around at night. Suddenly, the phone rang. It was Theo calling. He answered the call. Theo said he had apprehended Emmett Jim, half believing, half doubting. Even he has to be very cautious when encountering Emmett. Not to mention Theo, who is not even a martial artist. He thinks so. But Jim quickly rushed over. He did not expect the fact to be true. This junior is too powerful. He actually single-handedly captured the murderer. Theo is also straightforward. He goes straight to the point. He wanted to embezzle the stolen goods. Jim originally wanted to test the waters. Little did he know that Theo pulled him directly into the partnership and handed over the rights to share the profits to Jim. Jim was taken aback. Junior is indeed a smart person. Jim decisively agreed. Jim agrees with Theo's approach. Theo doesn't need to use the second stage bone tempering pill and organ shield pill for now. Change to the first stage pills. In addition, give him 1 million cash. Later, Jim found an expensive red elixir pill on Emmett's body. And this happens to be what he needs to break through the realm right now. Just take it. The rest will be handled by Theo and Emmett. Theo doesn't need to worry about it anymore. They have divided the stolen goods. The system's wealth value immediately soared to more than 2.4 million. However, the difference between this and the market price of 3.5 million is quite large. This system is really honest and reliable. However, Theo is already very content with the situation. Theo suddenly remembered about recording the testimony. He turned around to take a look. A shocked expression on his face. Jim's eyes glinted with malice as he said, "The suspect resisted arrest. He was shot dead on the spot." Can you believe it? This high school student is actually a millionaire. At this moment, he is preparing to buy his first luxury mansion. The name of this young man is Theo. Just now, Jim transferred 1 million to him. His wealth value has reached over 3.4 million. The previous system interface also broke along with it. A more tech-savvy and high-end new interface appeared before his eyes. But he didn't expect this system to be so money-minded. Theo had no money before. The system only displays 1 decimal place. Not precise enough. Now his wealth value has reached over 3.4 million. The system not only upgraded the interface. He can also exchange 1,000 wealth for 1 point of vital energy to operate in more detail. Indeed, it is absolutely impossible to get by without money these days. At this moment, Jim sent a text message to Theo, saying that he had sent him some useful things. At this moment, the younger sister's personalized wake-up service arrived. Theo has a really nice waist. But even siblings should observe the etiquette of mutual respect. Lillian handed her brother a package. It's something sent by Jim. Lillian can't believe that her brother actually knows this famous person from Sun City. She quickly pulled Theo to ask Jim for an autograph. Lillian showed her brother her plan to get rich. Among the 5 girls in Sun City, 3 like Jim, while the other 2 like him very much. Lillian's school has a total of 3,000 female students, plus 500 male fans. If each signature sells for $10, that's $35,000. Rounded up, isn't that $1 billion then? But she just came to her senses, only to find out that her brother had already disappeared without a trace. She was purely entertaining herself. Theo opened the package on the road and took a look. It turns out that Jim sent him 3 books on practice techniques before, as he checked the information. To become a martial artist, you must meet 2 conditions. First, vital energy must be at least 150. Second, strong bones. Tempering your bones requires not only taking pills, but also practicing specialized techniques. He was just worrying about not being able to find techniques, and he didn't expect it to be sent to him just like this. Just with the increase in intensity of his practice. The small courtyard downstairs can no longer satisfy him. He must find a place that is both spacious and quiet. So Theo went to look at houses. Issues that can be solved with money are indeed not really issues. Can you believe it? This young man not only has money. He also has a cheat code to become a martial artist, so it's a piece of cake for him. Just now, Theo came to see the house. This real estate agent is short-sighted. He actually thinks high school students can't afford to buy a house. But the next moment, he was slapped in the face. Theo took out his bank card. Is there a discount for paying in full? There must be. Not only a 5% discount, but also stamp duty and maintenance are completely waived. If you pay the deposit immediately, you can also exempt a portion of the house payment. And this house is fully furnished. You can move in at any time. We will handle all the procedures for you. You don't need to worry at all. the issue of the practice location has been resolved. However, how to communicate with his family is also a difficult problem. So Theo simply doesn't mention it. Then he went to the pedestrian street to buy furniture. Swipe his bank card. He just grabbed what someone else had their eye on. Sure enough, spending money is fun in the moment. Keep spending money, keep having fun. The venue and hardware facilities are all set. Theo immediately began refining his body. The structure of the human body includes bones, flesh and blood, meridians and internal organs. And a martial artist must be well-rounded in all aspects. So, refining technique and standing meditation complement each other for practice. The effect is the best. Jim is very optimistic about Theo coming to guide Theo in practice personally by making a phone call. In the first stage realm, the main focus is on the moderate development of the upper limbs. He specializes in the lower limbs, capable of both fighting and running. Theo listened. It's a must to specialize in the lower limbs. But Jim reminded that specializing in the lower limbs carries risks. If injured, it's easy to become lame and damage one's image, not to mention the possibility of being unable to walk normally. But Theo didn't think about that much. What he considered was in case he couldn't win, he must be able to run faster. This wave of understanding is simply mind-blowing. At this point, Jim reminded once again. Refining technique and standing meditation can increase the upper limit of vital energy. However, actual vital energy will decrease. For this martial arts examination, your practice must be moderate. Theo couldn't wait to start practicing as soon as the call hung up. As Jim predicted, both vital energy and mental energy have indeed decreased. But money does make one willful. He can just use money to replenish them. As long as the body can handle it. The progress of cultivation is very impressive. However, only he with a system can achieve it. People with cheat codes are indeed different. What's astonishing is that using the system to restore vital energy and mental energy can actually increase the limits. Theo, who discovered a system bug, was ecstatic. In that case, the martial arts examination is a piece of cake. After a month of crazy training, he finally faced the martial arts examination that would determine his fate. Theo walked into the examination room with full confidence. The first item of the martial arts examination is the medical examination, which takes place at the Medical Examination Center. Theo is chatting with classmates. Suddenly, a middle-aged man calls out to Theo. He turned out to be Tiago, the deputy director of the Sun City Education Bureau. How could such a big shot from Sun City approach him? He pulls Theo aside. There's no harm in being direct. Theo asks him directly what's going on. Tiago doesn't beat around the bush either. He said that the number of people who pass the martial arts examination is an important assessment indicator for the Education Bureau. The situation this year is not optimistic. Jim mentioned him before. Since he was mentioned by Jim, he must be remarkable. He hopes that Theo can display vital energy before the assessment to intimidate other examinees from different schools. If their confidence is shaken, it will affect their performance in the assessment. He is indeed a cunning old fox. He actually wants to use Theo to suppress other schools. Of course, Theo is unwilling to do so. If vital energy erupts before the assessment, it will affect the physical fitness test afterwards. Tiago seems to have anticipated that Theo would not agree so easily. He said he would compensate Theo with a vital energy pill afterwards. That's worth hundreds of thousands. Since Theo has benefits to gain. Theo agreed readily. At this moment, Theo, who was worried about not finding an opportunity, stepped forward when there was a conflict between the examinees from Sun City and those from other schools. He seized the opportunity to unleash his vital energy. The examinees from other schools around instantly fell to the ground. Tiago on the side looked shocked. This guy's vital energy is almost catching up with a martial artist, right? Goodness. It has been 10 years. Sun City finally produced another top-notch martial artist. Just now, Theo walked into the medical examination center. The candidates are all discussing who just released the imposing vital energy. It's really terrifying. Theo was secretly feeling smug at the time. He was suddenly grabbed and pulled into a nearby dark room. Just now, Tiago took out a first-stage vital energy pill and wanted Theo to take it. He asked him to become a martial artist Theo at extreme level, but Theo resolutely refused. Because the effect of the first-stage vital energy pill is too powerful. If a non-martial artist consumes it, it will not only affect their own foundation. He may even be in danger of losing his life. When Theo refused, he moved out of the Education Bureau and went to the director of the Roman Bureau. That was the requirement of a third-stage martial artist. What a cunning old fox. Sorry. Jim is also a third-stage martial artist. Tiago was surprised. It seems that being tough doesn't work, so he had to take a softer approach. He said he was forced to do it too. As long as Theo agrees, all conditions are negotiable. Looks like he will make a good deal again. Theo spoke up. 2 first-stage vital energy pills plus 2 million in cash. No problem. I will agree on behalf of Roman. Before leaving, Theo said that Tiago can ask for 3 first-stage vital energy pills, with one of them being kept by himself. Tiago looked shocked. He couldn't believe that Theo was still thinking about giving himself an advantage. Is this guy really a high school student? Jim sure has an eye for people who are not simple. Test room. Numerous test cabinets are arranged in rows. Many candidates have already completed the test. However, no one with vital energy above 120 has appeared yet. Finally, it's Theo's turn. Roman quickly had someone pull up his surveillance footage. Actually, Theo doesn't need to take the vital energy pill. But he still pretended and took out a regular vital energy pill to eat. The pill entered his body. The power of vital energy quickly surged into his limbs and bones. Theo let out a loud roar towards the sky. The mighty power of vital energy suddenly burst out. The detected values are rapidly increasing. With a beat, the value unexpectedly reached the limit of 149 for the martial artist. Theo, who passed the assessment, looked smug. He, however, is unaware that the world of martial artists is full of dangers. Just now, the medical examination is completed. The candidates have all gathered in the meeting room to wait for the examiners to announce the results. This year's admission cutoff score has been raised to 115. Many candidates in the audience exclaimed that they were finished. Theo, on the other hand, looked calm. The examiners have published the list of candidates who passed the cutoff score. Theo won the first place in Sun City with an impressive score of 149. Theo is very happy to know his score. He invites his classmates to go shopping. But on the way back, he encountered a man with strange symbols painted on his face. The man immediately started to criticize the martial artist. He turned out to be a cult against martial artists. What a lunatic. The crowd ignored him. They just walked around him and quickly left. The next day, Theo took part in the follow-up practical testing and professional exams. After finishing the exams, his classmates all let loose and relaxed. Little did they know, besides their parents, there was someone else waiting to greet them. An impending disaster on the horizon. Several men holding steel pipes suddenly pushed open the car door outside the school gate. They quickly rushed towards the students who had just walked out of the school. I heard a loud bang. A candidate fell to the ground in response. A few people rushed in like wolves among sheep. They began to wildly attack. The students scattered and ran away. At this time, Theo still didn't know what had happened. As he was wondering, a woman suddenly appeared behind him and threw a punch. Theo only had time to protect himself with his hands in front of him. Such strong force. She must be a well-trained martial artist. He looked at the strange symbols on the woman's face. It turns out she is in league with the cultist man from yesterday. Theo swung a sidekick. The woman blocked with one hand. Ouch. This is to injure the enemy without harming oneself. Self-inflicted loss of 800. Before Theo could react, the woman suddenly grabbed his collar. She slammed him to the ground. Theo spat out a mouthful of blood. The woman raised her fist, preparing to deliver a fatal blow to Theo. Theo was shocked. He kicked the woman's ankle, causing her to lose balance. She missed her punch. This punch even cracked the ground. A devilish smile appeared on the woman's face. She punched again. Am I going to die here? At a critical moment, the woman suddenly flew out like a cannonball. She heavily crashed into the guardrail beside her. Fresh blood dripped from the man's fist. He looked at the woman on the ground, who had been killed by a punch. Theo looked shocked. This man is very powerful. I haven't become a martial artist myself yet. Theo was almost killed. Time of crisis. A man timely helped save Theo. He turned out to be Vincent from the Criminal Investigation Bureau. He is indeed a tough character. At this moment, Tiago also rushed over. He anxiously checked to see if Theo had any broken limbs. After confirming that Theo was fine, he chatted with Vincent about the incident. It turned out to be the work of a group claiming to be a part of the creationist religion. Shortly after, a young officer from the Criminal Investigation Bureau ran over to report to Vincent. All members of the creationist religion involved in this operation have been captured. But the students suffered heavy casualties. Many may not be able to enroll in martial art university. And Theo, who experienced this incident, finally realized that he was still too weak. In this world where strength is respected, only by becoming powerful can one survive. But Tiago told Theo, many martial artists nowadays don't practice battle tactics anymore. They are only practicing bone tempering and nurturing vital energy. Because it's simply not needed. Even in cases like this, it will be handled by the Criminal Investigation Bureau. There are many like him who choose to become civil servants after becoming martial artists. Theo is very disappointed. Are most martial artists like this? Tiago offered to take Theo home and visit his parents. Arrived at Theo's home, Tiago suggested that Theo's father become a security guard at the Education Bureau. The monthly salary is 5,000, including social insurance and housing fund. This is much better than working at the ceramic factory. After saying that, Tiago left. Theo said, the Education Bureau also rewarded him with a set of housing. He finally found a legitimate reason. The next day, Theo brought his parents and sister to the mansion he had bought before. Do you have such good benefits before becoming a martial artist? At this time, Jim suddenly called. Theo said that his vital energy has already broken through 150. And he has already completed the first bone tempering. He wants Jim to teach him battle tactics. Jim, however, says, 150 is the standard for ordinary people. Don't rush to break through. The higher the vital energy, the greater the help for the future. He also asked Theo to undergo the second time bone tempering. He has guidance from a master. The young man really has boundless prospects.